Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a really funny one. I thought you guys would enjoy this. If you do enjoy this story time, leave a like on the video. And yeah, let's jump right into today's story time. So today's story time takes place back when I was in high school. It was my last year of high school that I was there. And things were going okay for the most part. But around this time, my principal had a lot of suspicion around me. Most of my school staff was also suspicious of me because around this time I made a mistake and I held something for a friend of mine. I didn't want him to get in trouble and he was on like his last strike with my principal before he got expelled. So I held a bag in my locker for him. So yeah, my school was very suspicious of me, okay? They thought that I was like some dude just bringing that stuff to school every single day of my life, and that just wasn't the case. Ironically enough, I wasn't even smoking at this time. I was completely straight edge. And yeah, I was just, doing my thing, trying to get through school and do YouTube at the same time. And then one day, sadly, everything went from fairly normal to not so normal very quickly. Okay, so this all starts off as a normal day. I wake up, get ready for school, get dressed, all that stuff, go to school. Starts off as a very normal day, like I said. I get through my first 3 periods of school, and then I have my lunch. I had an early lunch this year. And I go to lunch, I sit down at my table with all my friends, and one of my friends pulls out of his backpack a ginormous rotten pineapple. Now you're probably like, Austin, why the hell did he have a pineapple in his backpack rotting away? I had the same damn question. I was like, yo, why do you have a giant rotting pineapple in your backpack? And he's like, this is Bill. I'm like, what? He's like, this is Bill. I'm like, you gave it a name? He's like, yeah, Bill. It's his name. Say hello to Bill. And I'm like, hello, Bill. How you doing today? And he goes, Bill said he's doing fine. How about you, Austin? I'm like, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking. I was so confused. Like, at this point, I just thought my whole day was a fucking fever dream. So anyway, we get through lunch, and after lunch, I'm leaving the cafeteria, and I go to my locker, and I set my backpack down in my locker, because usually at this period, I just leave my backpack in my locker, because the class I was going to after lunch was just a study hall period, so I didn't really need anything with me besides, like, one paper that I already had in my hand. And yeah, I didn't think much of it. I put my backpack in my locker, and as I go to close the locker, I get a very weird whiff of rotting fruit. And I think to myself, okay, this is strange. What's in my locker right now? Why does it smell like that? And I open up my backpack, and none other than the giant pineapple himself, Bill, is sitting in my backpack. And I immediately call my friend on his phone. I'm like, yo, did you fucking sneak this pineapple in my backpack while I wasn't looking, or like while I was at the vending machine or something? And he's like, yep, the minute you got up at the vending machine, I put it in your backpack. I'm like, dude, why would you do that? And he just starts laughing. He's like, because it's funny and I want you to have Bill. I'm like, dude, I don't want your giant rotting piece of fruit, okay? I just don't want it. He's like, well, you're going to have to deal with it, okay? Bill is a full-time thing. You're going to have to babysit him well. So I shut my locker after talking to him on the phone, and I just head to my class and try not to think about the fact that there is a giant rotting pineapple in my locker right now that my friend just threw onto me and made my responsibility. So anyway, I go to class, I sit down, and 5 minutes into class, an announcement comes on, the overhead announcements, and says that we're going into lockdown. And it wasn't a serious, like, emergency lockdown. It was the lockdown that my school would do every once in a while to conduct a random locker search. So basically what they would do is they would bring in police and police dogs, and the police dogs would sniff the lockers, and if they smelled anything illegal, they would search the locker. Now, of course, I start to get a little bit anxious because I'm thinking like, all right, I don't have anything in my locker, but I do have a giant rotting pineapple in my backpack, and it doesn't smell very nice, and I'm sure the dog will be able to smell it that walks by, and I don't want them to like think that's a drug or something. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? These dogs are professionally trained. They're not going to think that a smelly piece of fruit is drugs. I'm fine. So fast forward like 30 minutes later, the lockdown ends, the search was over, and another announcement comes on in my classroom only and says we need to see Austin in the main office. Now everybody in the entire class looks at me in like this look of shame, like, that they just found something in my locker, and my friends are like, yo, bro, what you got in your locker, man? Like, why are you getting called to the office? What you got in your locker? And I'm like, nothing. And they're like, nah, that's bullshit, bro. They're calling you up to the office. Like, you got something in there. And I was like, no, I swear I don't. And they all start laughing at me. So I stand up and I do the walk of shame out of my classroom. I go upstairs to the main office, and I sit down in the principal's office with my principal and a school police officer. And my principal goes, hey, Austin, so we did a random locker search today, and one of the police dogs picked up a scent from your locker, so we conducted a random search on your locker and your belongings. And I was like, really? Like, seriously? And my principal's like, yes, really. We did. And I feel so embarrassed at this point because I already know what they found. They opened up my locker, opened up my backpack, and saw a giant rotting pineapple in my backpack that my friend named Bill. And this isn't like a piece of a pineapple or half of a pineapple. It is a huge, entire pineapple just rotting in my backpack in my locker. So my principal goes on to say, yeah, we found something in your backpack. It wasn't necessarily illegal, but I'm just a little bit confused as to why you have it. And I was like, what? And my principal goes, we found this. And the police officer pulls out a bag, like a trash bag from behind him. And he pulls out the giant rotting pineapple. And I look at it and I go, yeah, what about it? And my principal goes, Austin, why do you have this in your locker? It's a giant old rotting pineapple. Like there's fruit flies in it. Like what is this? And I was like, well, you know what? It's my friend's, and I was holding it for a friend. His name's Bill. Say hello to Bill. That's his name. And my principal goes, Austin, this is no time to be a smart ass. Like, seriously, why do you have this in your locker? And I'm like, I'm telling the truth. My friend literally wanted me to hold it for him, and it's a giant pineapple named Bill. It's his friend in life, I guess. I don't know. It's his. He named it that. And once again, my principal's like, Austin, I'm really not in the mood for jokes. Like, this is kind of gross. It has fruit flies on it. It's in your locker rotting. Why would you bring this to school? Like, throw this away. And I was like, it's not mine. It's my friend's, and its name is Bill. He named it Bill. And my principal goes, Austin, seriously, stop messing with us. Why do you have this? And I'm like, I'm telling the truth. It's my friend's, and he named it Bill. That's its name. And the police officer goes, Austin, final warning. Stop trying to be funny right now and just tell us the truth, or I'm going to call your mom. And I was like, call my mom and tell her what? That you found a pineapple in her son's locker? She'll laugh. Make sure you tell her while you're at it that the name of the pineapple is Bill. And he goes, all right, that's it. I can't do this anymore. And he throws the pineapple back in the trash bag, walks over to the garbage can, and throws Bill in the garbage. And I was like, wow, you just threw Bill in the garbage. And he's like, I'm done with your jokes. And he just walks out of the principal's office. I made the school cop rage quit. And my principal just looks at me and goes, Austin, seriously, why do you have that in school? I'm like, listen, it belongs to my friend. Here's his name. You can call him up if you'd like, and he'll tell you the absolute truth, which is that it's his, and he's named it Bill. And my principal goes, okay, just go back to class. Don't keep anything weird in your locker anymore. I was like, okay, I won't. Thank you. It wasn't even my choice. He threw it in there without me looking. And my principal goes, okay, Austin, you have a good day. So I walk out of the principal's office, extremely embarrassed and just laughing at the same time because that was just the most ridiculous conversation ever. Like, it's not every day I get called up to the office because a police dog and a police officer searched my locker and found a rotting pineapple named Bill. Like, that's just crazy. I just couldn't believe that the school police officer was like, hey, tell the truth or we're gonna call your mom. Like, I couldn't imagine that phone call. Like, hi, is this Austin's mother? Yeah, we found a giant rotting pineapple in his locker named Bill. And we just quite frankly don't believe this. We just can't believe this at all. So please come down here and have a talk with us. Like, seriously. But yeah, that's pretty much where that story time ended. I called my friend immediately after this happened, and I was like, yo, your little pineapple friend Bill got me sent up to the office because the drug dogs and the police officers searched my locker and found it. And my friend was fucking dying laughing. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So yeah, guys, moral of the story is do not bring in giant rotting pineapples to school. It's not really a good idea. They smell bad and fruit flies go after them. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much end of the story time. I thought this was a really funny one. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Like what's up? They leave me out for the dead and now they know they're fucked. All my texts are unread, that's how I know she's done. My life changing a flash.